Boom. Welcome to Grown Dad Business. This is Aaron Kleiber. We are coming from the dad quarters. Jason Clark.
Boo.
Boo. That's appropriate. You're right.
Yeah,
dude.
What's up?
That was a you kind of. I was like, what's he going with?
Where's he going?
Because it was a long build up.
Yeah, it was.
You went.
I knew I had to hook you.
Like,
I had to hook you.
I was like, what's he into?
Yeah,
What's he going for today?
You never know.
And there's just simple boo.
Boo.
Well, today, Grown Dad Business. Hey, I know we've been talking about dad bods, and maybe we've been really tired because
we were sleepy last week. We caught up on some sleep though.
We did. I did
did.
not really. I did a little bit.
Yeah, I feel better.
Your graduation party's done.
Yep. Yeah.
4th of July is over. I'm back on the road this week. I can't wait. I mean, kind of. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't want to get serious, but this just came up out of nowhere, and we had so many good conversations about it. And we're going to talk about, has your kid seen a ghost?
Yeah.
We're just throwing it out there. Has your kid seen a ghost?
My mommy, my mommy, my mommy, my mommy.
Jason, has your kid seen a ghost?
Oh yeah.
Well, I saw a ghost as a kid.
There it is.
Oh, what is what we're talking about?
What's what are we going to talk about?
What's wrong with us? Summertime campfire
Ghost stories.
My mommy, my mommy. Granddad Business with Aaron Kleiber. That's my dad. Hello, underpants. That is hilarious. You should mouth to rate and review this podcast, or my daddy will go into a deep depression. Going down business with Aaron Kleiber.
Boom.
Boo.
Oh, okay. Was that a boom or a boo?
That was a boo.
Oh, it was a boo.
Boo.
Okay.
Let's set the scene here. We're sitting in the dad quarters.
Yeah.
Lights are out. We've got candles burning. We've got candles burning in the
Okay,
middle.
I'll go with this.
Go with it. Hey, up on the mantle, there's many more candles. The aromas, the feel of ghost stories. No,
dude.
No, we got the
You're
lights
just
on.
asking for trouble.
We got the lights on.
You're asking for trouble, Jason.
We got the lights on. We got extra lights.
Jason's bringing candles on Ouija board. You better knock that shit off right now.
Like a 13-year-old
No.
girl at a sleepover.
Did you ever do that stuff?
A Ouija board?
Yeah.
I've touched one, yeah.
Yeah, we've done that stuff.
But I was the guy that would move it.
Yeah, but it was the thing. It was the thing where it was like me and like 4 girls in high school, and I was like, "Oh, this is spooky, girl."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
First
It
one
was
to take
a
your
goof
hands off of the Ouija board goes in the closet for 20 minutes. What?
Yeah, I know. I brought
Freaky.
4 Zimas for 9 of us to share.
Yeah, 4 Zimas and 3 Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember people in high school, like, they'd be like, I brought a 6-pack to the party. And there's 20 people there. You're like, what are you supposed to do with this?
No, I didn't know any of those
You all,
assholes.
you all take a sip of Milwaukee's?
Yeah,
What is this, how we
yeah.
do this?
I didn't know any of those assholes.
Anyway.
They didn't come to my parties.
So this whole topic came up from, and a little shout out to Scary Mommy. Of course, we love Scary Mommy.
Yeah.
If
ScaryMommy.com.
Yeah, ScaryMommy.com. If you don't, if you don't check it out, you're crazy. If you're a parent, it's a fun blog.
It is.
I don't want you to. I mean, do they have a podcast? Because then I'll erase this part. Don't listen to their podcast. Just read their articles.
They can have a mommy podcast. Do your thing.
Well, Scary Daddy is a way weirder connotation than Scary Mommy.
Yeah.
Scary Daddy is like what I grew up with, so I don't want to do that. But no, this article came out, and it basically was like, the title is FYI, your kid can probably see ghosts.
And I'm not kidding.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, what a great, this is not a dig. It's a great, I don't want to say clickbaity, but it's a very enticing title. You're like, I should check this out. I have 3 kids.
and also, if you don't have kids still, it's just like, some stories. Or you remember stories that were passed around when you were a kid, or you, as a kid, seen some stuff.
Crazy, right?
So it goes across all lines, not just as a parent, but also as just a human being with the possibility that you've seen something paranormal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of threw me for a loop. We're gonna dig into it, but I want to get out. I want to get out of the way. Some stuff going on because we're going in. We have I went to Facebook.
Yep.
And I didn't go to Facebook, even though they're building a headquarters in Pittsburgh. But I started asking people on Facebook, I'm like, do your kids have ghost stories? And have your kids seen ghosts? And people posted some stories, man.
Yeah.
Some of them were like, okay,
this is a screenplay.
It's like, yeah.
You just posted a screenplay.
Yeah, it's like
No.
Your kid did not hear a ghost say that. Like, that's not, that sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
Also, it's like babies talking to ghosts. No, you don't know what your baby's doing. Like, you're like, it doesn't make sense. No. But there's some good ones.
Yeah.
And I picked like 5 little blurbs. 2 of them are longer stories, but Jason and I have our own stories.
Yeah.
But so I think it's a fun thing.
Yeah. So today might be. I
love talking about this in the 114-year-old house I just moved into.
Yeah, I get to go home.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
But my story.
Well, I don't know, man.
You know,
you're still in that house.
But no. I mean, last week was a shorter episode because we were sleepy. So we might put a little bonus minutes on this one. It might be a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah.
We're just going to go in and have
Maybe
a good time with this. Well, we'll see. You know, I mean, the people get what they get what they want.
I don't know what's going to happen.
You never know.
No, I just want to give a shout out to a couple places I'm going to be before we get moving.
Yeah, let's get those out of the way.
I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. this weekend.
Don't
play the president's theme.
Oh, it's still the office.
Well, I'm excited because I'm taking Wendy and the kids. I'm taking my wife and kids.
As soon as I walked in the house, tonight.
We're going to Washington, D.C.
Guess where we're going?
Yeah. But I'm there with my adopted dad, John Witherspoon, one of my favorite people in the world to perform with.
Boy.
Jason got to see him last week.
Yeah, boy.
Who in the audience like chicken say, yeah, boy?
Yep, yeah, boy.
He's so funny. Oh, my God. Who like to suck women's toes say, yeah, boy? He's
God,
so stupid.
It was so silly.
He's one of the funny, one of the few people I can watch over and over and over, and I've worked with him.
It was honestly like watching like, you know, that grandfather.
He's a crazy old man
at the cookout.
Yep.
Just saying inappropriate sexual things, and people just look at him and go, "No,
and
that's Pap. That's Grandpap. That's Pops right there.
Crazy.
Pops. Pops getting off. Here he goes."
And that's probably my 40th or 50th weekend I've worked with him in the last 6 years I've known him, and I can't wait to do DC with him. It's a great club. And then boom, I'm going to be in the Comedy Club of Rochester, New York. I'm going to be there with Josh Blue. July 21st and 22nd. July 28th and 29th, I get to open for the great Barry Crimmins at Wiley's in Dayton, Ohio. And then I'm headlining a full week, August 1st through the 7th. It's a full week almost in Calgary, dude.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, I can't wait. I don't know if anybody's listening from Calgary. And then the second week of August, the 9th through the 12th, I'll be at McCurdy's in Sarasota, Florida. And then I'm headlining at Skyline Comedy Club in Appleton, Wisconsin, August 24th through the 26th. And then September, it gets crazy. I'm in South Bend, Indiana. I'm in North Carolina. Then I'm in Looney Bin, Oklahoma City, Looney Bin, Little Rock, Arkansas. And, Jason, this weekend.
Yeah.
July 15th.
The 15th, Saturday, 10 o'clock. Stand-up GetDown.
Taking the
Arcade
helm.
Comedy Theater. Aaron's leaving town, going to D.C.
Taking the helm.
I'm gonna run that thing, and we're gonna have a good time. It's a great lineup.
We have some new faces.
Yeah, newer faces. All of
GetDown.
them. Only one of them has never done the show before.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of them that have only done it once.
Right.
So it's a younger group.
Yeah, we wanted to mix
it up.
It's a good
mix.
Well, we had 2 months of veterans coming through.
Yeah,
some major
heavy.
shows.
They were heavy.
So it'll be good.
It's going to be a fun time. Really funny comics.
Yeah.
We're excited about that. So arcadecomedytheater.com. Go on there for your tickets. Just $12. BYOB. You're here in Pittsburgh. Come see that.
I'm mad I'm missing that show because it's got a lot of fun people on it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, July. That's what we got this Saturday, and then we're taking it to the Oaks, and
right.
we're going to do it at the Oaks at Oakmont. It's a old movie theater that they've redone and refurbished and
multi-medium showroom.
Yeah, do more live stuff than movies anymore.
It looks like a casino showroom.
It's dope. Boom.
Of course
right
it is.
there.
Jinx, double jinx, touch blue, make it true. That's what my kids do all day.
What do they say?
All they're doing. Oh, I made that part is from Dumb and Dumber. Touch blue, make it true.
Oh, okay.
Jinx, double jinx, touch blue, make it true.
Okay.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
I know
That's
I said
fine.
that. And even my wife My wife.
My wife.
She gave me a weird look like, touch blue, make it true. I was like, oh, excuse me.
Is that something?
I don't know if you ever heard of the blockbuster film Dumb and Dumber.
Is that something dirty?
Sorry.
What are we touching our blues?
Wouldn't be blue anymore.
All right, ghosts.
Anyway. All right.
All right, we got that out of the way. Go see Aaron. Go see me.
Yeah.
Let's see each other. Let's be friends.
Yeah, so we, at first, like, we were kind of like, should we talk about this? Like, because we try to stay away from politics, religion, spirituality.
Yeah.
Even though I had an entire past life as a youth pastor, but that's cool. And not even as a ghost, like as Aaron Kleiber.
Yeah, but it's just something that, I mean, we've decided when we sat down and said, what's the concept of the show? You know what? We don't need to go down those paths, but this sort of touches a toe, possibly into some spirituality.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, straight out the gate, it's like, look, do you believe in ghosts or not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't,
enjoy the ride. Stay on board and listen to these stories and laugh and be like, you stupid sons of bitches. That's so dumb.
You guys probably on LSD.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but there's something, that seems true about it. People's experiences.
Yeah.
And personal experiences. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, you know?
Yeah, but we were like, well, why would we do ghost stories in July?
Yeah. And
why not bookend this? Save this for October. Let's do.
Right.
You know what? We might do something completely different and creepy for Halloween.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe we'll talk about how ugly our dad bods are by October because I might fail.
I'm going to be fine. I'm going to have a 9-pack.
I want to look good.
But here's what's possibly going to happen. You're going to take my ass to Scare House, and I hate haunted houses. So that's
You're
a whole thing.
You're going to go in the basement.
I'm scared to death.
And
Collier are just going to bully me.
I want to see you in the Scare House basement.
I'm
not going to see you, actually, because they separate us.
I will spit.
You're by yourself.
And you're blindfolded, and they touch your nipples.
Who knows?
They touch your nipples.
No, they don't.
I've heard it.
You made things up.
I know some of them actors, too, and they're going to be like touching my nipples.
Oh, yeah, if you know the actors, they find out who you are.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Aaron had a great thought. You're like, you know what? This is how we can justify.
It was my wife.
It's our show. We do whatever the hell we want.
Whatever.
We want to do a Christmas episode next week. You're getting it. We're talking about Santa Claus next week.
We're talking about Santa Claus.
Suck it up, Kris Kringle.
Whatever.
What up? Who cares?
I think we have to now.
I think I'm done with Christmas.
Huh?
All my kids are gone.
Christmas in July.
My daughter moved.
Have a Christmas.
I'm gonna have Christmas. I'm gonna have Christmas. She goes. My daughter on Sunday, folks, moved to Florida. 22 years old, never lived outside of my home. She did all her schooling, was able to stay home.
Not even like an apartment down the road.
Sunday, got in her car at 6 o'clock in the morning. I watched her drive away into the sunrise, and she moved to Florida.
To the Sunshine State.
I'm going to tell you what, people. It was the ugliest cry I've ever had. I sat out on my deck at 6:30 in the morning and was wailing, not bawling.
Were you doing the man like?
I was doing that.
What?
Like, yeah, I was bad. It was rough. It was rough. So then,
hey, I can't imagine.
So we were talking about when she's gonna come back home to visit, and she said, "I want to come home for Christmas."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Screw that. Why wouldn't we go to Florida for Christmas?"
Yeah, what are you talking about? We're coming to you.
We're coming to you.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry about that little segue.
Got the new spot.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about Christmas. But you know how we are.
It was actually my wife.
My wife.
She was like, "Hey, it's summertime. It's sleepovers, campfire.
Who doesn't love to sit around and tell ghost stories? Right? Didn't you?
So this is a good summertime. Are you afraid of the dark? Sprinkle this stuff on the fire.
Goosebumps.
Right.
Oh, love all that stuff.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I thought. Okay, when you read this article, now I'll read. I mean, I want you to read the article.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, but I'll just touch on a couple things. Because I want you to read the article on Scary Mommy. Your kid can probably see ghosts. You can find it, and we've shared it on our Facebooks, things like that.
Yeah, on every platform that we have.
But it's crazy. Yeah. But it's crazy. Oh, now my phone wants to play commercials. Okay, scarymommy.com. Relax.
Yeah, you're not getting no free spots.
Yeah, come on. So the story is about this little girl who basically
the premise is the mom's pregnant.
Yeah.
In the story, and the little girl is laying there and makes a comment about the little girl is sad.
The little girl's sad, and she goes, "Oh, the baby in my belly."
No.
Which, by the way, I think is a baby brother, so that threw it off, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And then this is how we're going to start the episode. she goes, no, the little girl who sleeps in our house.
With the red eyeballs.
Fucking done.
Done.
Nope.
Burn that house down and run down the street.
We'll live in a self-storage unit. I don't give a shit. Are you for real, right? No way, Jace.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Listen, my story's going to put you down that path.
Well, you got to wait for that.
I know.
That's going to be a juicy one. But yeah, I mean,
that's the reaction that this lady has.
Yeah,
this blogger's like, what?
Like, it's a little boy. It's a little boy saying it's a little girl. And basically, oh, no, right there behind the chair with the red eyes. Mm-hmm. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills right now.
Mm-hmm.
No way. No thanks. So that's the kind of thing, like, you think about that. I'm like, dude, if one of my kids said that, dude, I'd have a priest here in a minute.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'd start praying. I'd start walking through the house. I'm
speaking in tongues.
Listen, I'm not. Look, most people know. If you listen to my podcast, if you're, if you're a friend of mine, if you've heard me on stage, I know I swear, and I also probably say Jesus 9 times.
You said a lot
in my set.
Yeah, a lot of Jesus this weekend.
It was interesting.
It was funny.
But I mean, I'm a spiritual person. I believe in God.
Yes.
And so that kind of stuff, like, it's, I don't want to get in too deep. You know what I'm trying to choose my words carefully and not like dig in this rabbit hole. But, I moved into a 114-year-old house. Mm-hmm. I walked around and prayed in every room. I did, man. Yeah. This is an old-ass house.
You had an Aquafina bottle and you just throwing it off walls.
I mean, dude, there...
You're like, God, Aquafina bottle.
My sister brought me home a bottle of Aquafina home from the gift shop in Rome where she was just at. And I was like, give me that. That'll be good enough. Gift shop Aquafina from the Vatican. Cool.
Boom. Done. That's as holy water as I can get.
Yeah, it's close as, come on. So, that's the thing. I mean, like, dude, like, my house is old. Mm-hmm. There are pictures of my house that were taken with gunpowder. Like, that's old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, it's kind of weird. It's, and you're wondering, like, okay, well, just because you're spiritual, you believe in God, well, what if you saw a ghost when you were a kid?
Yeah.
How could I forget that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So we'll get into that. I'll get into my story too.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that people had stories, and I'm sure more people have stories.
Yeah.
And I love mystery and ghost stories and horror movies.
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between ghost stories and horror movies.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's some ghost stories where you watch, like, The Others and Insidious. It's very different than...
I love The Others, by the way.
Oh, it's great. Very underrated film, by the way.
Love The Others.
And there is my baby scaring the balls out of me.
All of a sudden, little baby face.
Moving the curtain, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's the little baby. Little goofball. Or was it a baby? Who knows? Was it my baby?
Yeah.
Now I'm freaked out, Jason.
But The Others is a great... You want to talk about an awesome ghost...
Don't spoil it.
No, I'm not. Just an awesome ghost story.
Oh, so good.
Just like, what?
Yeah. Really good.
So well done.
But that's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's not...
And ghost stories grow.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
Right.
They are stories that people have inherited and told over time.
Right.
Your ghost story is going to be from when you're a child.
Yeah.
And we all know that was probably, 13 years ago because you're so goddamn young. Let's just get it out of the way.
That happened when I was 13, so about 9 years ago.
Yeah, so there might be a little some things that maybe put on there to
okay, for real, Abby,
flare it up a little bit.
My baby is scaring the crap out of me. What are you doing? She's scaring me. I just see the curtain moving. Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh, she has a Band-Aid.
Oh,
what
sorry.
happened?
We have to take a moment.
What happened,
we have to take
boo-boo?
a break.
What happened? No talking on mic. You don't know?
She puts a Band-Aid on her knee, and she limps around like she's a wounded soldier.
Did you get kisses?
Or maybe that's the ghost
Olaf.
that she's talking to in the house, a wounded soldier
Olaf
that used to live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it
a
go.
Frozen bandage. Good job. Yeah. Anyway.
Bye, baby.
now that the
Bye.
little baby's scaring the crap out of me. But Oh, go ahead.
Just saying about that stories grow over time and say embellishment, things like that or whatever.
Right.
But ghost stories are meant to do certain. They're supposed to.
Right.
They're supposed to scare you. But when you talk about, I'm going to tell you the story, and this is exactly how it happened, and it's not embellished, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I know, and like like I said, I listen to a lot of things. Shout out, Astonishing Legends is one of my favorite podcasts of all time. Now that's a lot of different things. It's like weird stories and aliens and ghosts.
I just finished the Amelia Earhart one from a couple years ago,
right?
which it was really good, and it just sort of came off of the fact that the History Channel just did this
There's
thing.
some good ghost stories on Astonishing Legends as well.
And they just did this thing again. History Channel did a thing on Amelia Earhart,
right?
Which kind of the Astonishing Legends guys
pretty much
went on a whole bunch of stuff
like 2 years ago.
Right.
They pretty much answered this 2 years ago.
Right. But the thing about Amelia Earhart, though, was that that island had commemorative stamps.
Yeah, I know.
Not Saipan.
Saipan.
Not Saipan or whatever it was.
Yeah,
the island that she was taken on, they actually had commemorative stamps.
How does nobody know that?
Of her being captured.
How does nobody know that?
Yeah. But
why is that not a thing?
But what this History Channel,
how funny is that?
What this History Channel show did, though, they introduced photos, an actual picture that was misfiled within the
National Archives.
Yeah, within the Navy intelligence, which is the oldest intelligence branch that we have, the ONI.
Yeah.
ONI.
I don't remember.
Yeah, whatever.
ONS.
But anyways, they found this picture, and it's her.
And her co-pilot Noonan.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, just on the dock.
Yeah.
And their plane is being towed
on the boat, which then is made into a commemorative stamp by these people, and our government's just like, oh, yeah.
Well, I know we're super tangents. We're
I know it's a super tangent, but the idea is
But there are some really good spooky stories. They just did episodes on the Jersey Devil.
Yes.
They do episodes on the Skinwalker Ranch out west. Terrifying.
So, anyways, check that podcast out. They are.
There's a Mothman episode, incredible.
They have
Roswell.
that's a. I think the Mothman is 4 parts, and then just like last month, I think they had the screenwriter for Mothman Prophecies on.
Yeah,
really good stuff. So check those guys out.
Stuff if you're into it. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah,
I'm into it. And so that's why I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I was saying, people really responded.
They did.
Because I posted the article, and I said, hey, do you guys have any ghost stories relating to your kids? And people went wild, dude.
Yeah.
It was there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a couple things I'm going to highlight, like 4 or 5 of them.
Mm-hmm. Go.
And they're not, super long stories.
No.
But a family, a kind of a family member of mine, she's saying that these are just, some of them are just quick little posts, right? Mm-hmm. And she also posted the picture of the painting that her 2 youngest sons, she has twin boys.
That's creepy in itself.
They talk to the painting. Dude, your twin boys talk to the goddamn painting, Jason. And the 2-year-old, it's like a painting with faces on it. One 2-year-old calls one of them grandma.
Oh, boy.
And the other one calls the other one Injun Joe. What?
Why?
That just gave me chills.
Why?
Where's that come from?
So is there any backstory at all?
Nope, that's all I know. And then points to another one and says baby in a growly voice.
Ooh.
I got chills.
Yeah, kids growling. I'm not down with that.
And it's so funny because she goes, oh, yeah, I think it's funny, but my husband is scared. Oh, really? You think? No, that's not funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hell no.
Let me ask you a question. Where's that painting at in your house, Aaron? On the burn pile.
On the burn at my neighbor's house.
And it doesn't burn. And you're like, oh, Jesus. It shows back up on your mantle the next day. I'm like, oh, my God.
You better knock this shit off. Dude. Yeah, there's that. And it's like, come on, dude. There's no way I can handle that, Then there's there's some good ones where, it seems kind of sweet. Shout out to my friend Ari. Mm-hmm. She's my friend out in Minnesota. She said that her daughter said that she saw her grandma, just saw her grandma one day, and she kind of didn't think nothing of it, and then thought, oh my gosh, Like it was right after her grandmother's funeral. And like I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
It's been said where it's like a loved one will just like you'll see them before they go, like or right after they die, and like and kids see that. It seems like that's the story you hear the most. It's like, oh, I saw Grandpa.
So the understanding that a lot of people will talk about why kids see these types of things is their innocence. Well, that's what I've heard people talk about.
There's biblical things about that too.
Sure.
Is that the innocence of a child, and things like that, and they're also people say they're susceptible to more energy, and and you hear the same things about animals as well. That you can read where dogs will sense spirits within a house as well. Yeah. Not my dog. He's a lazy son of a bitch. Bentley sleeps 8 hours a day. I'm getting 18 hours
tomorrow.
A day. I hate.
You get a dog in every room.
I never wanted a dog. Now I'm just gonna have, what?
Just
why are you doing that shit?
Just messing with you.
Dude, Jason just acted like there was something like behind me on the wall. I was like, "What's going on, dude?"
You know what I think is so funny, and we'll dig back in, is like you love the haunted house. You love it. And I love it too. I love the idea of it.
Don't get into this.
I love the theatrics
You're
of
asking
it.
for it.
Go
ahead.
But you're jumpy.
Jace.
You're jumpy as hell.
You want me to give you the answer?
Go.
This is, guys, whatever. Write me an email, whatever. Jace, this is a real answer.
Okay.
That's fake.
Right.
That's pretend.
Yeah, you know that it's fake.
Haunted houses and horror movies are pretend and fun.
And you can click.
They're supposed to be fun.
You can click that.
I don't want to sound like the little lady from Poltergeist, but when it comes to real shit,
right? Yeah.
People say, "Well, it ain't real." Whatever. I ain't taking a chance.
No.
I ain't messing around.
Right.
Dude,
nope.
I'm not. You don't. I don't want to say the words. You don't mess around with evil, bro. People think I'm crazy right now.
Right.
But I'm serious.
Yeah.
I ain't messing around with that shit. You crazy? No, hell no. That ain't a joke.
All right, so we got the painting.
See what I mean?
What? Give me your other ones.
There's Ari's story. And this one was or like my buddy from college is like, oh yeah, our kid, was telling us about the lady in red that would come into their room, her and their siblings' room, and just look down at them while they were falling asleep. I'm like, nope, chills, goodbye. And then there's I'm obviously, I'm reading from a list of comments that now I can't find right now. My friend from high school. They go to the marina, right? They go out on their boat, and they live up in the Northeast. And my friend's like, she's like, oh yeah, my son every time says that he sees people at the marina walking around, old people. And she's like, what do you mean, like grandma and grandpa? She goes, no, they look really old, like from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Chills.
Now,
and then she's like, oh yeah, a Native American village was on this. It's named after a Native American village.
Right.
The marina.
Yeah.
So, hello.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't messing with that.
No.
Like, hey, can I build this here? Oh, there's a Native American village. I'm cool.
No.
Let this ride. Just let this be a beach, bro.
Yeah.
Just let this be a beach.
Did you learn anything from Craig T. Nelson? You don't build
anything from Craig T. Nelson.
You don't build a house on top of this. Nope.
I went to that house. This is one of the first places I went when I first went to LA like 15 years ago. So stupid. I know. I'm like, I want to do Poltergeist house. Like a dork. I've been in the Nightmare on Elm Street house too. How am I not finding this story?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. No, I can't find this story. I was like, I want to look up this story, and I can't find it now. Anyway. Well, another friend of ours, I can paraphrase it because I remember it a little bit. She was just saying that like when she was little, her and like her brothers and stuff said that at her like her grandmother's house, there was this lady always. I'm getting chills every story I get chills. There's this lady standing on the steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like all the family would just always laugh about it. Like they would always sit around the house like, oh, there's not a lady on the steps or whatever. But then like she said like her aunts like were like, oh yeah. And then they were like, oh, don't worry. They were like, they can't hurt you. They can only make you hurt yourself.
Oh,
That's what I got chills.
What kind of theory is that?
That's what the ants told the kids.
What is that theory?
They told the kids that the ghosts will make them hurt themselves. Like, what?
What, like slap myself in the face?
This house is filled with the Holy Spirit. You better watch out. You ain't messing with this place. So, dude, and then there's one. My friend Brenda. So her friends, they went on a vacation to a cabin in the woods. I know, right? Mm. And so they went to this cabin, and they went in, and I guess as soon as they got there, they had a baby, and the baby, who never like fusses and screams, was like losing its mind when they got to this cabin, and they're like, well, you know what? I'm going to try to drive around. I guess the wife said, I'll drive around and you get things set up, and I'm going to drive the baby around and get the baby to fall asleep,
right.
you know? Yeah, I mean, I've
done that.
You know,
I've slept in parking lots of supermarkets because my daughter wouldn't go to sleep unless I drove her around.
Yeah. So, so the mom, I guess, drove the baby around, and the baby was totally calm, right? And then they pulled back into the cabin, and the baby started immediately, like, almost woke up, flipping out, going crazy, right? Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Well, the dad comes out of the cabin with all their stuff, and he goes, I don't like it here. I have a bad feeling about this place. No specifics. Of course, it's a Facebook post.
Yeah.
But he's like, has all their stuff, and is like waiting out front. Like, we're going to go. I don't like this place, right? And he said that when he turned around to walk back, I'm getting hard chills right now. He turned around to walk back, like to get their stuff. And in the window of the cabin, he saw a reflection of his wife that was not his wife. He said it was another woman.
Oh, The Shining.
Yeah, and he said they were like, that's, oh my God. Like, they ran.
Man.
Isn't that crazy?
Ugh.
I mean, I don't know. Like, what is it? Like, what did he experience in the house? Just the heebie-jeebies, the chills? Like, what happened?
I don't know.
You know?
Just like he's got to get out.
Yeah.
Like, you just know. Sometimes you just know it doesn't feel right.
But yeah, that one, whew, man, that is wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna get in our stories. We're gonna take a quick break.
Yep.
We're gonna special thanks and shout outs to our friends, and we'll be right back. Shout out to Bear of Pennsylvania. They provide and build play sets, basketball systems, trampolines, safety surfaces, playgrounds, and that's what I'm most happy about. I had Bear of Pennsylvania deliver and install a playground for my kids, my 3 kids, and they are out at 7 a.m. playing on it every single day. Super excited. The pro installation by Ryan was incredible. This dude is an animal building a playground by himself. I asked him for help, if I could help him, but he said no because he's a pro, and it was unbelievable. He was done in a couple hours. It was amazing. It's a family business. It's been around for over 21 years. They have a way to get your playground or your basketball system all over the country. You can save $100 off your purchase of $999 at Bear of Pennsylvania, or 12 months, same as cash financing. Go to bearofpa.com. You can also find Bear of Pennsylvania on Facebook. Grown Dad Business, GDB. That's the coupon code. $100 off your purchase of $999. And they have systems and playgrounds that are just over that, so you can really save some money. GDB, that stands for Grown Up Business. You get it, right? Save $100. Bearofpa.com. I am super happy, and so are my kids. They've given their endorsements. You can go check out also on my Instagram and my Facebook page at Aaron Kleiber, or facebook.com/Aaron Kleiber Friends. See all kinds of pictures of my kids enjoying their new playground from Bear of Pennsylvania, or just go find Bear of Pennsylvania and see their awesome products. Boom.
We're back.
I'm
going to tell my story in this voice.
Don't do that.
No.
That's scary. That's too scary. I don't like that. Going through people's like, oh yeah, my son used to tell me there's a little girl named Rachel he played with and she was dead. Like what the fuck? Like what?
Yeah, and I know that I did have someone comment on mine that came right out, and just said, "Hey, listen, I don't believe in ghosts."
Cool, man.
And they're just saying, kids have active imaginations.
Sure.
I get it. I do.
Oh, absolutely.
I do.
The stuff that my kids
listen,
up with.
I had an imaginary friend. His name was Petey, and he lived in my throat. And what's really crazy...
That's the premise of The Shining.
What is really crazy, even better, is that I never told that story to my family. My son had an imaginary friend that lived in his throat.
Come on, dude.
And his name was Petey.
Shut up, Jason.
And then we found out that he ate a fly one day. And that was the name of the fly. He's a kook.
Shut.
But that's true.
Up.
Absolutely true. You can question my wife about that. My daughter, my son. But I never told them that story. And my son would go like this, Petey. And
he swallowed a fly.
And that's what I did, my imaginary friend. So, yes, kids have active imaginations. Right. But at what point does an innocent child who's not watched ghost stories, has not been exposed to anything paranormal, say to you, I am talking to another child in my room that is dead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Active imagination, your ass. All my kid has watched is Sesame Street and Fraggle Rock, and he's talking to me about dead people.
Yeah.
Go to hell.
Well, that's the thing, too, is I would say that, like, my kids, they don't know that stuff. They don't watch that stuff. They know about ghosts. Yeah. There's so much, and Daddy likes zombies, and they know Daddy likes zombies and horror movies. Mm-hmm. But I don't like. I even went as far as now. Some dads are gonna be like, "What a dork." I mean, I took down my horror movie posters.
Yes, that's not dorky. That's being a good dad.
Because my kids were like,
they're exposed to it.
My kids were terrified of Michael Myers on the wall.
Scare the hell out of them.
My little girl, my first little girl, she's 9 now. She used to be like, "That's spooky." And I was like, okay, I'll take that off. Yeah. Because it's Michael Myers.
Why would I? Oh,
over the staircase.
Yes, no.
Of course it's horrifying.
Of course that's
my Night of the Living Dead poster, of course it's full of zombies.
No, you take those things down. No, you're not no. You know what? If you're saying that he's an idiot and a dork for that, you're an asshole. You shouldn't be listening to this podcast. We
care about our kids. This podcast, we care about our kids.
We care about our family. Now, some other podcasts might go off and not care about we're telling you we love our kids. We do what's right.
And that's also to say, like, we also have people we know that, their kids, well, we don't have to judge you.
No.
I mean, there's kids that, like, know about horror movies. I mean,
my
son in kindergarten came home and said that his friend watches Walking Dead. And I was like,
we've talked about that so many times.
What?
What's
the matter with you?
When you have parents, and we're both fans of The Walking Dead, we love the graphic novel, we love the show.
Right.
When that first episode of last season happened, which was, the actual Negan, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Kids watch that.
Parents filing complaints.
Yeah.
Because their kids were exposed to that violence. I'm sorry.
That's not their problem.
No.
That's
if I was ever working the phones at the FCC,
I'd be like, shame on you.
I'd be like, excuse me, how old? Oh, you're an idiot.
Yeah, you're a stupid
You're
idiot.
an asshole.
Right.
You got batteries in your remote control? Click them.
Right, I know. Yeah, you can watch it later.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah, you're having a Walking Dead party.
Right. Well, and
that's fine.
And this is a good lead up to my story.
Good.
Because I was a kid, and this is now. I'm not judging my mom, okay? I saw my first rated R movie when I was 7.
Oh, yeah.
It was RoboCop.
Yeah.
That's a bad one.
Yeah.
I was immediately watching horror movies when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. And my mom worked 2 jobs almost all the time. Like, we were latchkey kids. Mm-hmm. My mom worked her ass off. She's the strongest woman I ever met. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I was kind
of raised on movies.
You had some free reign. You had
I was raised on
far more
5 days, 5 movies, $5,
that's
bro.
It, bro.
You can't beat it.
Yeah.
That's where my love for film came.
Yeah.
Was watching that. And I can tell you a really cool story too. That actually, I'll save that.
Okay.
I'll save it. It's a good one. It just has to do with zombies and my love of filmmaking, why I got into filmmaking.
We'll do that
when I was like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, anyway, we'll get into that some other time.
So I was really into movies. I was into horror movies. But here's the thing. I was into horror movies. I was into Jason. I was into Michael Myers. I was into zombies movies. I loved watching, Return of the Living Dead. You know, just stuff like that, you know. Maybe for the striptease in the cemetery, but whatever. Anyway, but here's the thing: I was never into ghosts. Like I was never like I don't remember ever thinking about that. And I spent quite a few summers, at my aunt's house. And her house is in Evans City, Pennsylvania. Well, if you like zombies, that's where the first Night of the Living Dead was filmed. And subsequently, also the remake with Tom Savini was filmed there, and that's part of my story, actually.
Right. When
it was filmed there later in 1989 or 90, I believe it was 90. Anyway, so the Evans City Cemetery is there. The Night of the Living Dead Museum is there.
Right.
At one of the mausoleums at Evans City. So my aunt, she lives in a farmhouse that is, I believe, and it's funny because she posted. And by the way, she still posts using my dead uncle's Facebook account.
Oh.
Is that weird? It's kind of, I mean, it makes me remember him. And dude.
There is a lot of weirder things on Facebook that people still keep dead.
So her house is 167 years old.
Okay.
Her house was originally built. The foundation of her house is originally built as a kitchen, because that's where they used to put the kitchen. It used to be a little stone house next to the house, so you wouldn't burn down the house.
Right.
Well, apparently the original log cabin that was next door burnt down, and not the kitchen. So they built a log cabin on top of that, and it's made of American cedar. There's a lot of history in the house that I know now. That American cedar is like a very expensive wood. It's fascinating. It's such a cool place, and how it was built. But I stayed there for summers. You know, my uncle took me fishing. I camped outside. You know, taught me how to shoot things. You know, and shoot things. You know. But I'm just saying I was prepared in Evans City for a zombie outbreak, if anything ever happened.
Right.
So nothing was ever said at my aunt's house at all, ever. There was nothing, you know. I was about 13 years old, and that's when I was in my trouble years. My mom would make me go up there for a month and, you know, cut grass and, you know, bundle sticks and, you know, do chores and, you know, go fishing and stuff like that. But just randomly, I mean, this was like 1 PM. And I'm upstairs taking a pee, okay? Now, my aunt's bathroom is kind of a room that is also attached to her bedroom. So when you're standing in front of the toilet, to the right of the toilet is the room to the door to her bedroom. Well, when you're running up to take a pee, like, you're not closing her bedroom door because nobody's up there. You know what I mean? So you just go upstairs to take a pee. My aunt and uncle are downstairs. You know what? Nobody's there, right? So if you're standing in front of the toilet, you look through the doorway into her bedroom, and in her bedroom, on the far right as you're looking in, this is hard to imagine, but
no, you're painting a good picture.
There's another door, and that's her sewing room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I won't jump ahead, but the sewing room has a lot of interest in that house. And my aunt was an artist, and she painted her own decks of cards, tarot cards. My aunt is really into spirituality, and she reads tarot cards.
Oh, wow.
She's very into tarot cards and crystal power and things like that, and natural herb. She's a natural herbalist. She used to like own a store that did, like, you know, an herb store, you know, stuff like that, cool stuff like that. Very hippie, you know, super hippie.
Right.
I mean, she was a super hippie. She still is. She's the coolest chick, you know. I can't imagine how cool she was when she was like 25, you know?
Yeah.
Like the coolest hippie chick ever, you know? So I'm standing there peeing, right? And out of the corner of my eye, out of the sewing room, through the bedroom, looking through the doorway, out of the sewing room, this dude just starts walking out. And this was, Jason, you got to realize, this was from me seeing this guy to me running downstairs was a second. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it goes from shock to, oh crap, someone's seeing me peeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You get that.
I'm sorry if I missed it. How old were you?
I was 13.
Okay.
You go from that split second. It's like it's all these firing things, like
right.
someone seeing me peeing, I don't know that guy. That guy doesn't have legs. Like all within a split second.
Yeah.
And what it was, this man walked out, and it was like must have been like in his 70s maybe.
Right.
He had short. I mean, I can picture him right now. I could draw him. I know exactly what he looks like. If I could ever think of what he does look like an actor. One time I saw an actor. I wish the grandpa from. Ooh. Anyway, shoot. Tight gray hair like mine, and then he had like a tight gray beard, like almost like a fisherman kind of looking guy.
So like the Gordon Fisherman guy.
Yeah, kind of.
Like
yeah,
that, right.
He had on a plaid red and black shirt.
Okay.
And overalls.
Okay.
And it wasn't bright. It wasn't bright. It was. You could. I can picture right now. I mean,
right.
It wasn't bright and vibrant. It was almost like you were looking at an old picture.
Right.
It had this like haze to it.
Sort of grainy.
He
like
had a haze to it. Right.
Yeah.
And then honestly, around his thighs, there was nothing there.
It just sort of it just.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills. I mean, I can remember it. I mean, it was like this, dude.
Right.
I saw this.
Yeah.
And it gets better. So at that moment, I just remember peeing on myself.
There you go.
Like I just like froze for a second and just bolted out of the bathroom. And at first I thought there's a dude upstairs.
Yeah.
And so I remember having pee on my hand. Like I was like, oh crap, I got pee on me. Like as I'm running downstairs.
Right.
I mean, you remember this stuff.
Right.
I remember every detail. I run downstairs. My aunt is sitting at her countertop. That's where she would sit there and smoke a cigarette. And I go, Aunt Beth, there's a dude in your bedroom. I don't know who he is. There's a guy up in your bedroom. I don't know who he is. And she said, I swear to God, she goes, oh, I know.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm getting chills.
Oh, no.
Because what comes with this just was an avalanche of things. She goes, oh, I know. And I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean you know? I said, what are you talking about? I said, who is that? She goes, this is an old house. And your uncle and I, we've seen some people walking around. I said, what? I said, dude, I remember thinking, like, it was like, you know, when you just see this, like, blur of, like, you're just like, what? I'm like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
And so then the rest of the time I was there, I tell you what, man, I'm getting chills because
and she still they're still there?
Yep, she still lives there. My uncle passed away a while ago.
So he's walking
maybe
around
about 5 years ago. No, Jace, don't say that, dude.
Why not?
Yeah, because my son was a baby, so it was about 5 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago. And my uncle was amazing. He was an amazing person. He was like a father figure to me. He taught me how to shoot and hunt and fish.
Right,
you know?
right.
A kid in the projects, I never would have had that without him.
Sure.
You know? So then, I mean, I remember that the rest of the time I was there was just, I remember sleeping in their TV room. I wouldn't even sleep in the spare room upstairs. They only had 2 bedrooms upstairs. It's an old farmhouse. I slept downstairs. I was like, I can't sleep upstairs, dude.
Right.
And then I was like, I can't even sleep downstairs. Like it was terrifying.
Yeah.
Man. Like I was scared
sure.
for a while. And I'm gonna be honest, man. I was scared. I'm telling you what. I was scared to go in that sewing room.
Oh yeah.
Probably, and honestly, I closed the bathroom door. I closed her bedroom door probably every time ever again.
Wow.
Like absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to go in that sewing room and even her bedroom probably till I was like 25. I'm not kidding.
I don't blame you.
Like late 20s.
Yeah.
Like, dude, and like now, like we would go up there for holidays every once in a while, and you know, I'll still like, she's like, oh, there's, you know, go get the 2 chairs in the sewing room, and I still, I'm still like,
be like, who wants to come with?
Oh, I do.
There's strength in numbers.
I get my sister to come up.
Oh shit, yeah. Hey, come on,
I get my daughter to come up.
Oh yeah,
my 7-year-old daughter. I'm like, come on, you're coming with me.
Come hang out.
Yeah, you just get them coming with me. I have done it myself. I have, but you know, I'm just like, okay, you just kind of accept it. You're like, whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
Listen to this. It gets deeper.
Oh man.
So my aunt, I told you my aunt's a spiritual person, you know, and she's into this. And so as I was there a little bit more, we started talking a lot about it. A lot.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, actually, I've done a lot of research. Because she's, at this point, lived in this house since 1972.
Well, and that's what the thing I was going to say to you is that please tell me that she has researched her home and the lineage.
Well, so I'll tell you right now. This is crazy, man. So the things that are connected in this house, I don't know why she's never had anybody come and check it out.
Yeah.
But she hasn't. She's just like, whatever.
Well, you said that she's a spiritualist.
She's lived there by herself for the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, then she starts telling me all of their ghost stories.
Oh, yeah.
My uncle has seen the guy that I saw.
What?
Yeah. Oh, it's described exactly. I couldn't make this up, man.
Yeah.
My uncle told me what he looked like before I told him.
Right.
How do you like what? How do you deny that? Like,
yeah,
what, you know what
can't.
I mean? My aunt has never seen him. Now, my uncle is a second marriage for my aunt. They got married in like 93 or 94, 92 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
No, 90. It was about 90. I was little because the whole Night of the Living Dead story. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But she had a husband before that lived there, you know. So he didn't live there the whole time. Well, my aunt's like, the way that you're describing him, that's who I bought the house off of. Super chills, right?
Wow.
Super chills.
Yeah.
That's the dude
that sold the house.
that I bought the house off of, right? Wow. I know, right? So, then I'm trying to stay along the same line. Then, sometime in the 90s, they were trying to like fix up their attic. I mean, you know, 100-year-old house. They're trying to fix up the attic to make it better for storage or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And my aunt's stepdaughter from my uncle's, you know, previous marriage, they find film. They find a roll of film, a couple rolls of film in the attic.
Nice.
They are that dude as a young man. I didn't see it, but she thinks they're his. But it's a dude. There's 2 rolls of film. One roll of film is in my aunt's living room with the couch that's still there. I saw all these pictures.
Right.
I saw the negatives. And because for some reason they couldn't develop them. You have to like literally hold them up to a lamp.
Yeah.
And it's nude photos of like some woman.
What up?
Yeah. And
Freaky
it's
deaky.
in the couch that is in my aunt's. It came with the house.
Freaky deaky in the
This
sewing room.
antique house, right? Yeah, not in the sewing room.
I
It's in
know.
the living room. Then the other roll of film, it looks like him in Vietnam. It's a dude in Vietnam, and no joke, man. I saw photos where guys holding heads. Yeah, dude, like Vietnam photos, man. Holding like Vietnamese heads.
Damn.
Yeah, man. And like just groups of guys smoking cigarettes, like, you know, posing, you know, just things like that. But then there was 1 or 2 photos with heads. Yeah, man.
I can't deal.
Isn't that wild?
I can't cope with that.
So there's that, right? Then my aunt tells me about the guy who watches her sleep. Super chills again.
Yeah.
She tells me about the man who watches her sleep. And I was like, what are you talking about? She said that early on, she said, I used to wake up my first husband, Greg. I remember Greg when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's a guy here. She would like freak out the first couple times. Then she realized it was just a ghost. Isn't this crazy? So I said, how many times have you seen him at the end of your bed? She was like, hundreds. What? I was like, she's lived there for 40 years almost.
Jesus.
I mean, no, longer than that. She's lived there since 71, I think. 70? So, yeah. 47 years, dude.
I'm done.
I know, right? So, she said there was times where she would just talk to him. And she'd be like, she would say, I'm not your wife. She's like, I'm not your wife. Go back to bed.
Just talk to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this nuts?
Yeah.
She would tell me, I'd say, honey, go back to bed.
Yeah.
And he would leave the room.
It's like, I'm good. All right.
Like, I can't believe this shit is. I can't. This. So she does some research. She finds out in the 20s, this is record.
Yeah.
In the 20s, the house was bought by a young man and his wife. She gave birth to a baby, and she died at childbirth.
The wife did.
The wife died at childbirth. He has this brand new baby in this house, this farmhouse. The baby dies a month later.
Oh.
He poisoned himself with arsenic when the baby died.
Oh, here we go.
That's really what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in public record.
But that's not...
My aunt has Xeroxes of it.
Right, that's not the...
Like it's in the... It's in the newspaper.
That's not the dude you've seen.
No.
That's a different
That's
guy.
the guy that she saw.
Yeah.
But isn't it like...
Yeah.
That's him watching his wife.
Yeah.
Isn't that... it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Ugh.
So anyway, that's the story of my aunt's house.
Yeah.
I mean...
I want to go visit.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go visit.
You want to come up?
I'll come up.
Oh, she'll have lunch.
Woo-hoo.
We'll have some...
in the sewing room.
Yeah. Oh, there's a deli up there. It's real good.
Of course, we got to find a sandwich.
We got to eat, bro.
We
got to go up and eat sandwiches at my aunt's house.
That cheese ain't pasteurized. Eat that shit.
Cheese.
Get that cheese. That cheese is good. It's thick cheese. Farm cheese.
Farm cheese.
Scrape out a little bit off the top.
Yeah.
It ain't bad for you.
So, coming from that, man, I don't know how I'm supposed to be like, that's dumb. I don't believe that. Like, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Things checked out.
Yeah.
They made sense.
I was a kid, but
Yeah.
like, then you come out the gate
Yeah.
with a story about your kid.
Which I've not told you yet.
No.
Then that's what's fun about this. Usually
Super
we talk
excited.
so much.
Did I tell you about my story?
No, I never heard that before.
Well, I laid it
which
all
is a
out.
rare thing is that we usually talk so much when we're working
Close
on
friends.
projects together, whatever. We're going into a podcast, we all listen to this, and we'll always yell at each other, save it, save it, save it.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk about these stories. So
We don't sit around talking about ghosts.
no, we don't. No, we don't.
Even it's funny because that story usually comes out when I'm on the road with people.
Yeah. Right.
Andy Picaro has definitely heard that story.
Right. But we're the worst because we'll have 4 different stories going on at one time, and we'll shelve that one
Bounce
and come
them
back
around.
to it later.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason got to stand up.
I'm standing up. Okay.
He's standing up. I'm in. Guys, buckle up. Get in the audience. I'm in.
Okay, so my house is probably about, I think, 60, 70 years old. Okay, so
is it?
It's,
okay.
Yeah. I might be dating it probably closer to 60.
Okay.
But that has nothing to do with the story.
Oh, okay.
So the age of my house has nothing to do with this.
Right.
So it's 15 years ago.
Yeah.
My daughter, who's 22 now, she's 7 at the time. We've been living in the house now for 2 years.
Come on, bro.
We bought the home off of a widower. He had raised 3 boys in the house. They've all gone on, and they were living in different parts of the country. His wife had passed away, and then he got, a little too old to be in the house. So It was time for him to move on, and he went to a home, an assisted living type of facility when we bought the house off of him. So one night, we're in bed. It's the middle of the night. Let's call it 2 o'clock in the morning, around that time. My daughter had a thing where she never really slept through the night. She would always come in and say, I need a drink, or I've got to go to the bathroom. Okay? So she's 7. My son is 2. Yeah. Now, we live in a 3-bedroom ranch home. All our bedrooms are grouped together in the same part of the house. My daughter's bedroom's right across from our bedroom. Right. And my son's shares a wall with us, so he's in the next room over. Mm-hmm. Around 2 o'clock in the morning, we're both sleeping. Alexis comes into my room, wakes up Melissa, and said, Jason's out of bed. So Melissa gets up. Lexi, they go out there, looks into Jason's room. Jason's in bed. Jason's out cold. He's sleeping. So she's like, come on, honey. He's in bed. I can't handle my own story. He's in bed. So she takes Alexis and she puts her back into her bed. Yeah. Comes back in. She lays down with me, shuts the door. A couple minutes later, there's Lexi again in our room.
How old is she?
She's 7.
Okay.
Mommy, Jason's out of bed. Alexis, you're seeing things. He's not out of bed. Mommy, come with me. He's out of bed. So they come out into the hallway, look into Jason's room. He's in bed. He's sleeping. Alexis puts her back into bed. Melissa comes back into bed again, and not even a minute later, Alexis is standing there. Jason is in the hallway. Melissa gets up, walks out into the hallway. And I'm looking at her. I can see her standing in the hallway. And she says, honey, Jason's not in the hallway. There's nobody there. And Alexis says, it's not Jason. There's a little boy standing at the end of the hall.
Oh, my God.
And Melissa just sort of looks at her, looks back down the hall, and she's trying to gauge, like, is she sleepwalking?
Right.
What is she doing, you know?
Right.
Alexis is wide awake, completely in it.
Completely lucid.
Looks at Melissa and follows the boy with her face, with her eyes, and she scans from left to right, and she says, he just walked out the door. Okay. So, Melissa puts Alexis into bed, walks down the hall, looks around. Yeah, there's nothing there. Right. Melissa comes into bed, and dude, she's fucking. It's go time. It's something's up. Something's up. Something's go time.
Oh
so, that's the basis of the story.
Yeah,
it's very simple.
Sure.
Okay, it's very simple. It's not. There's not a lot of depth of the moment.
I can't. But
the moment was she's seen this little boy.
Yeah.
And she visually followed him. She watched Alexis follow the path of this little boy walk across our living room. So we don't know what to do in this situation. We don't know how to react. We don't know where do you go with it from here.
Right.
Melissa went online and started searching of where to go with this.
Okay.
You know? And she came across somebody that was a paranormal expert.
What?
And Melissa calls this individual and says, hey, this is what we experienced. I feel very confident that my daughter definitely seen something in my home. And right away he asked, you know, hey, what's the history of the house? Well, we knew the history of the house. It was one owner. It was Mr. Bushell. His children were alive. There was no child that died in the home. There was nothing like that. Everything checked out. It was good. The night before this happened, I'm laying on the couch. Melissa's on the other chair.
Yeah.
10-ish at night, there's a knock at the door. Now, nobody ever comes, especially when the children were younger. Yeah. No one pops in. We don't have pop-up visits. Not with the babies.
Yeah, right.
You know, no one comes to my house 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
I was at the door by the time the third knock hit. It was 1, 2, 3.
Right.
By the time the third one hit, I've already got the door open.
Yeah.
There's nobody there. I open the storm door, and I step out onto my front porch. I look around. There's nobody there. Shut the door, come back in.
You let him in, Jace. You let him in, dude.
So the paranormal expert asked my wife, point blank, without knowing that happened the night before, because there was no reason for my wife to say that.
Yeah.
Was there any type of knocks at your doors that you might have opened up and there was nobody there?
Come on, dude. I can't handle this right now. We're going to church.
She tells him that story, and he said, you allowed that spirit to pass into your home. Your husband gave permission to that child.
Come on, dude. Stop talking like this.
To come into your house. So obviously her next question is...
I give no permission to anybody to come into this house in the name of Jesus Christ. I swear to God.
So what do you do? And so that was her next question.
Right.
She's taking notes.
Oh,
she goes, what do we do?
Come on, dude.
Because we need to understand how to get this
people
thing
think we're wild right now.
out of my house.
This is the point of the podcast. People are like, we're done. We're checking out. These guys are nuts. These guys are lunatics.
So his response was exactly what you said. He said to her,
I know enough.
It is not there to harm you.
Right.
Obviously. It's been a few nights now.
Right.
Nothing has, transpired. Now, some things started to disappear in our home.
Come on, dude.
Shoes would go missing. One shoe. And then the shoe would show up in another part of the house. So
nope.
Melissa would yell, little boy,
come on, bro.
Give me back my shoe.
Come on, dude. I can't handle.
And then she would find the shoe.
No.
Where she already looked for the shoe.
Jace, I can't handle this.
But his suggestion was that you stand there, open the door, and just say, "You're no longer welcome in our home.
You can go now.
You can go now." So we did this.
You did it.
And we never had an issue again. And now we have priests in the family. So if you wanted to get spiritual and like what we could have went and done and,
we could have went nuclear.
We could have went in that way. But the reality of it is this little child was just passing through. And it came to me and
who you belong to?
And I
get your parents.
Yeah.
Who your ass belong to?
Where do you get your binky and get the help?
Get your ass out of here.
Yeah. So it's a simple story.
You better get on home.
But it is a story that it's not been embellished. We've not grown it.
No.
I probably have my wife could probably tell it from a more one-on-one account.
Well,
better than what I'm saying.
I'm good at telling the story
because it was you.
I've told it a couple times.
Sure, and you'd seen it, and I've told the story, and it probably Melissa probably would check me on a couple different little smaller points, like maybe how many times Alexis came back into the room, but the core of the story is always that. She went from thinking it was Jason because it's a little boy.
Sure.
And only little boy she knows is this little baby that lives with her. Right. And why is she seeing another little baby?
She knew.
And then when Melissa said, "Honey, Jason's in bed," and she can still see the child. She sees Jason, but she sees the child at the end of my hallway.
Come on, bro.
And then that's when it clicked to Alexis, and she said that it's some little boy. So it's a great story, a fun story that my son would love to tell like his buddies when they would have sleepovers. Right. He would keep it pretty simple, be like, yeah, this place haunted. And they're having a sleepover in the game room. You know what I mean? And they're downstairs and he's like, we're having we're haunted, and then tell that story, and there's just like these kids there's no sleeping going on. So,
that's so funny.
But we haven't had any issues ever since. And, we talked before we got on here and podcasted and said, as far as what is our belief system, and we're not going to get, we committed we weren't going to get into that type of thing.
What else can we tell you?
But, the reality of it is that, I experienced it. I think
it's crazy that I don't meet a lot of people that have a story.
Yeah.
And the fact that we both have a story is pretty crazy.
But I think that you probably would find that if you asked more people, like maybe they don't have a personal story, but they know a story that their father told. I mean, I get heavy into my father used to tell stories of the Green Man.
Sure, yeah.
Here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And
I've been to Green Man's Tunnel.
Sure. And it's a great story. And there is truth to that story.
Yeah.
There are pictures of that man that you've seen, and his face is deformed, and he basically was a guy that would walk the streets, and then over just generations and generations,
right.
And then there were things as far as just like there was old abandoned churches by our house, and that was a thing as a teenager. You went down to Sutersville, and you went to these old churches, and there's
13 Bends.
13 Bends, yes, all those things. And I would tell you that probably every town in America
has a 13
you sit down and there is some folklore. Yeah. And I will tell you one of the more intriguing places for folklore.
Okay.
Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, I've heard.
And we were there.
Well, I mean, I know enough. I've watched enough History Channel. Williamsburg, Virginia is, I think, supposed to be the most haunted town in America.
I don't know. I would think we'd have to look and see as far as what they rank it. I don't know. But I've
also heard Gettysburg. Like you've heard Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, Gettysburg. They go
some
there
of the older
points.
city, Philadelphia.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you got to imagine. I think anywhere that there is a prominent history and a lot of death.
Yeah, right.
It breeds those types of stories. But we were in Williamsburg. We went on a ghost walk.
That's cool.
In Williamsburg.
Did you take your kids too?
We did.
You're crazy.
Yeah, and it was a sort of a PG-13 type of ghost tour.
Right.
But then I bought a book on the ghosts of Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And the night we were there, taking our ghost tour, and I can't believe I'm like, now I want to refund. Now I want to refund you, son of a bitch, because you never talked about what was supposed to happen in the window of that house on this very night.
Are you for real?
Yes. Are you kidding me? Like
a refund.
I want a refund. End of the week. By the end of the week, I went to the bookstore there in Williamsburg, and I bought a book on the ghosts of Williamsburg. And I don't know the exact story. I'd have to dig that book back out. Right. But I remember we were at a bed and breakfast, and I'm reading this book, and I look at my wife and go, "Ain't this a bitch?"
It's that day.
I'm like, the night we went on that ghost tour was a night this thing was supposed to show up in this window, and this jabroni
once a year.
Yeah, once
like
a year.
Yeah,
this idiot doesn't talk about that.
Right. Yeah.
Game over, bro.
Before we get out of here, because we're about done.
You got to be done.
Yeah,
It's dark outside. I got to walk to my car.
On my farm.
Son of a bitch.
It's so funny. Speaking of ghost tours, I don't know if anybody knew this. I have another podcast called You Can't Handle the Truth. It's movie reviews with an actual Critics' Choice voting movie reviewer, Sean Collier. Sean Collier, he led the Pittsburgh ghost tours for years.
Oh, yeah.
He could tell you. He is the Rick Seaback of ghost stories.
Oh, that's
in
so
Pittsburgh,
cool.
If anybody knows that little. But anyway, yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so he could just do it for us.
We should go on a ghost tour.
Just with him.
Maybe that's what we do in
October.
Go on a ghost tour.
Just have Sean go on the ghost tour with us and tell us everything.
With that voice of his.
Yeah. I'm Sean Collier. I can't do it.
I can't. No one can do that one. Just Harold Ramis, Ghostbusters.
Yep.
That's Sean Collier's voice. Or just go over and listen to You Can't Handle the Truth.
You can.
And you'll hear his incredible speaking voice.
Wow. Well, look, dude.
That was fun, man. I enjoyed that. A little longer, we know.
If you guys, look, I forgot to tell you. Rate and review, subscribe and share. Please,
share this.
Please. I think this is a fun episode. I think people will like it.
Yeah.
Share it. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe on iTunes to help us out.
Click a button, man.
Review it. All you got to do is hit 5 stars or 4, follow your heart. Not 1. Come on.
Yeah.
Because you're at the end. You already love it.
Yeah.
And write a couple sentences.
That's it, man. Show us some love. We show it to you.
Wow, man.
Great. I'm gonna blow out the candles now, and you're gonna go to bed.
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Oh my God.